they ain't listening to you.
He'd be right here, he's on.
All right, Marty, get your $100 for not turning off.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we can deal with that.
Mark. I'm gonna say she ain't. We'll go ahead and call the 2018 November 15th Board of Adjustments meeting to order. Mr. Thomas, can you call the roll?
Sure. George Dillon, Valerie Hines, Ralph Oliver,
Here.
Chris Cooper,
Here.
Jimmy Rogers.
Here.
Did y'all look over the minutes? Everything look all right?
I wasn't here, so
I knew you seen anything, did you?
No, I've seen it already.
All right. Just need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Jimmy Rogers,
Yes.
Chris Cooper,
Yes.
Ralph Oliver.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, we've had a request to amend the agenda we have a scheduling conflict for one of the applicants. They've requested to be moved to the first spot, the conditional use permit, 1641 Barnes Mill Road. They've got another meeting to get to, so they want to go ahead and have theirs heard first if we could. If y'all have any objections to just changing that order,
Sure.
we'll get them, we'll do them first.
Right.
Let's drive on.
That'd be all right.
Mike, you want to come on up and get the ball rolling here?
I'll do it. Thank you.
Mr. Eves, for those that don't know you, state your name and who you represent.
My name is Mike Eves. I'm an attorney here in Richmond. I'm here representing John Watts, who's filed an application for a conditional use permit. And I'm going to ask Mr. Watts just in a second just to tell us a little bit about what he does or what he proposes to do on that site. But our application contained a fair amount of information, most of which came from the records of the county and the codes office and building inspector's office. As the application indicates, Mr. Watts purchased this property in July of 2018. At the time he bought it, it's about 4 acres on Barnes Mill Road. There was already constructed and located on that property call it whatever you want to, it's a metal storage building type facility. Records that we obtained from the Codes Enforcement Building Inspector's Office was that proper application was made for the construction of that building. All the inspections were made. I think there was a certificate of occupancy ultimately issued for that building. Sometime in late 2017, early 2018, the owner, who I don't know, listed the property for sale. Mr. Watts purchased it. As I said, at the time, this building was already on the property and nothing, at least of record, that indicated that it couldn't be used for what it appeared to be it was, as a metal storage building. And so there's nothing that I'm aware of, nothing in the courthouse records that would indicate that such a use was prohibited or restricted in any way. Mr. Watts bought it, subsequently blacktop the entranceway. I'll let him tell you sort of what he does with it, but as I understand it, he and his wife are engaged. They do kind of dance. They attend dance. I'm not into the dance business, so I'll let him tell you about that. But they have some type of activity where they go 10 times a year or so to different events around the country, and he stores his materials for those activities in these premises. You know, and I'll be candid with you. I've looked at your regulations, obviously, and it's difficult to describe this and make it fit in any of your boxes. As I understand it, and I'll let Bert correct me if I'm mistaken, I believe the issue here is the fact that this activity goes on and there's no house there. I think that's the problem. As I understand it, if there were a house located on that site, there's nothing that certainly nothing that prohibits what I didn't mention a minute ago. There are occasionally tractor trailers that drop off and pick up materials from these premises that go to these trade shows. I have tractor trailers that occasionally drop stuff off in my house. I don't think that's a prohibited, I don't think there's any prohibition against having deliveries by any size vehicle, so I don't think that's the issue. And as I understand it, if there were a single-family home here, there's nothing that prohibits the use of this facility. It's not open to third parties. It's not open to the public. So, you know, the bottom line, you know, by all appearances, the building was built being properly permitted and inspected and so forth. Nothing wrong with any of that. But Mr. Watts goes out and looks and finds something that appears to be something and buys it and intends to use it for that purpose and finds that he has a problem. Now, this is the only mechanism that I'm aware of, and I think one that was suggested by the codes office to try to deal with that problem. And that's really in essence why we're here. I'd like to ask John.
Mr. Watts? Please state your name and address.
John Watts, 1641 Lawrenceville Road. I don't live there, but that's the residence we're talking about.
Okay. What's your residence?
160
Sir.
Plantation. Sorry, 160 Plantation Drive.
Give him the light mic. Thank you.
If you would, and I'm not going to tell the,
Like he needs to swear.
Yeah, you swear to tell the truth.
I do.
if you would tell the board how you came to buy this property and if you were aware of any restriction on its use.
Basically, I was looking for storage. It looked like a storage building, and that's the purpose I bought. I didn't need a huge storage building, but I just needed something to store my trade show stuff. And again, we don't conduct any business on the site, so I thought, should not be an issue. So
What do you do?
I do. We have me and my wife have a dance center that we ship stuff to to dance competitions from time to time, props, and then I also have a water filtration business that I distribute. That I take stuff to trade shows from time to time, like my booth and everything that I store there, and then I'll ship it back to the trade show.
Speak up. Just a
I'm
little
sorry,
bit.
then I'll take it to it.
Hold your hand if you'd like.
Sure, but I'll have that stuff, or my trade show booth shipped to the trade show, then shipped back, and it's just used for storage.
So for those who couldn't hear in the back, he's saying basically it sounds like you got two businesses out there. They have a dance studio. They're bringing their dance stuff in and out correctly.
Correct.
And they have a water filtration, bringing materials in and out of the storage correctly. That's the plan.
Mainly trade show stuff for that.
Mainly trade show stuff?
Yeah, then I'll ship it to a trade show, then ship it back.
And how frequently do you tell us about the activity? How frequently are people or vehicles in and out of that center?
It may be 5 trucks a month at the most.
And how is that shipped primarily?
Everything's shipped on a skid usually to
Yeah,
consolidate,
That means 18-wheeler.
or box truck, either one. Yeah,
Do you have a forklift or?
I do.
Since purchasing the property, have you made any improvements?
Yes, we put about a $50,000 blacktop driveway through the place.
Did at the time you purchased the property, were you aware of any restrictions that prohibited the use that you're now making?
No, the real estate listing said no restrictions flat out when I bought. That's one of the reasons why I looked at it and purchased it.
But regardless of what it said, were you aware of any reason you couldn't use it?
No, because I was using it for storage and not for business.
Do you understand why there wasn't any restrictions on the property? Because if there is, for conditional use permit, it goes with the applicant, it doesn't stay with the property. So if somebody even had something there before you, they would have to request something like that, okay? So it's just a piece of property, it's residential, so there's no restrictions on property for residential like
Okay.
that. Okay?
All right.
Well,
All right.
so
Go ahead.
I don't think you're suggesting that, so we don't need to be here?
No, I'm just saying, you keep saying that there's no restrictions. When you buy a piece of property,
I think what he's saying is there was nothing of record to have indicated he couldn't do what he's doing. As I understand it, and I may not understand it, and Marty's here, and I offer it, I'm asking him to clarify it if I get it wrong. But as I understand it, the building was built under a representation by some previous owner that he was gonna build the building and then build a house. And that's why the building was allowed.
Well, we don't have any restrictions against building a detached accessory structure on a piece of property just because there is or isn't a house there. There's no restrictions there. So, I know some of the municipalities, Berea, so forth, they won't let you build an accessory structure without a primary residence on it. We don't have such a restriction.
So it's not really an accessory structure, it's not accessory to anything.
Right.
So there's no, don't have to have any kind of permit to build this building.
And I'll just throw this out there, the MLS listing might have said no restrictions, and you're saying there's nothing of record, but we do have a zoning map for the entire county that shows where business has to be conducted, what's residential, what's agriculture. So to say there's no restrictions, every piece of property in this county has a zoning designation. Now, whether you call that a restriction or not, I don't know, but we have areas of the county that are designated for residential, areas that are designated for agriculture, obviously industrial, and business. This property is zoned, single-family residential. It was brought to our attention, as many things are. Marty went to investigate. By the applicant's own admission, it says business storage. So we made the decision that it was a business. It's this board's job to determine whether or not that business, not whether or not it is a business, that's not their decision, that's our decision. And ultimately, I assume the county attorney's decision. But once we've made the determination that yes, we think it is a business, then we check to see if it's zoned properly. This is not zoned for a business, so it's the application for a conditional use permit to use this property for something it's not zoned for. So that's kind of a glossing over Reader's Digest version of what brought us all here tonight.
Okay.
so is that, Mr. Watson, do you understand that now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So the determination been made then that this is a
It
business?
has been, yes.
Okay. And that's made by your office?
That's right.
I'm sorry.
No,
I've
go
already
ahead.
interrupted you, so I
No,
apologize.
you're fine, go right ahead.
Let's go back and talk a little bit about what you do. You told us what you do. Tell me what's in that building out
Right now, there's some, right now, there's some props, and then there's also just stuff from my trade show.
there. And tell us what stuff for my trade show is. What kind of stuff are we talking about?
It'll be like a display booth and samples of products.
And do you sell those products or any of that material out of that building?
Nothing is sold out of the building.
So
There's
you-
no business conducted on the site.
People come and you sell, how do you take orders when you go to a trade show?
Yes.
And that trade show may occur where?
There's Las Vegas, Orlando, Atlantic City. There's nothing here.
So if Tractor Trailer picks that material up and then you've got a trade show in Las Vegas, is that you just transport it to Las Vegas and then transport it back?
Correct.
And nothing that's sold in Las Vegas or at any of your trade shows is picked up or delivered or supplied out of those premises?
Correct.
Any customers come to your facility?
I'm the only person that goes there.
And so really it's that, what did you say, five trips a month?
At the most, yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, nothing, have a seat. Is you,
Ask
Asking
none
me
board
questions.
members have any questions before, and we can bring it back up if we need to after you hear other testimony.
We're good now.
we'll see, we'll try to get this orderly fashion and get this as quick as possible. It looks like the majority of y'all here to speak either for or against this.
Yes.
All right, is there a representative of who wants to speak for this? Do they want to come forward? We've heard from Mr. Watts. All right, nobody's jumping up.
Well, I'll say something.
Okay, come on up, ma'am. Please state your name. Your address?
Maureen Staley. I live at 108 Old Barn Way,
Okay.
Willimack subdivision.
You swear to tell the truth?
I absolutely swear to tell the truth. I don't have a lot to say. I'll keep it short.
Uh-huh.
All right, I did receive the letter. I did receive this letter, and I am a Christian person. I also believe it is my Christian duty and my civic duty to inform everybody in my community, my subdivision and my community, because we are not for this conditional use. And so we took it upon ourselves, Linda Adams and I. We spent a day in the cold and solicited oppositions. People signed, not one person refused to sign, and I had very limited information. I only knew there was 3 times a week we were told a tractor trailer may appear in that property. That was the information I was given. That's what I told people. No one wants this. I have 110 in one day. All right, I'm going to present that.
Can we get that for the record?
Yeah, if you want to make that part of the record.
Yes, can we add this to the
Please.
record? Is that,
Y'all want to review it, or?
you just verify, Marty, there's 100 and...
It's a couple different pages. The main thing is the only thing I'm going to say, and I'll let other people speak for that, I'm just going to represent that, is that the reason we are upset is the safety concerns. We don't want tractor trailers coming down our way. Willimack has their reasons, and I'll let other people who are more eloquent than I speak of that. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else have any different concerns than what she has? Because we can all get up here and say the same thing in
I got
one or two things, but, yes, ma'am.
My name is Bev Pinkalski. I live at 1703 Barnes Mill Road. Swear to tell the truth. I've written this down because I'm a nervous wreck when I public speak. And I want to begin by stating that my opposition to this proposal is not personal. I do not know the property owner. My concern is for the safety of the community as a whole, and that the citizen's safety takes priority over the convenience needs of one individual. No unmet community need is served by this request in the neighborhood which it is located, nor is it zoned for commercial storage. Other options are available for the property owner's need that are properly zoned for the stated request. Access driveways for commercial semi-truck traffic require a state permit with requirement for line of sight, swing ratios, and other specifications. This property does not qualify for a permit. It is not zoned for commercial use. State highway laws prohibit any vehicles from impeding traffic. This includes blocking traffic, crossing into other lanes to swing into a driveway. An illegal stopping charge, fines and court costs are levied against drivers who violate this law. I was given the understanding that because of the narrow entry, semi-trucks have a difficult time backing in, backing out, pulling in, pulling out, have to swap lanes, and traffic has been stopped on some occasions, and it's very difficult. Beyond the state law violations embedded in this request regarding traffic and the obvious safety concerns of semi-trucks coming in and out of the driveways on this busy road, the road maintenance issues, unsupported by appropriate taxes, are another concern. I was surprised to learn from the State Highway Department that one semi-truck wear and tear on a roadway equals the same wear as 500-plus cars. That number can be more depending on the size and weight and load of the trucks. Based on Kentucky Transportation Department statistics from 2015, which was the only year I was able to access in this short amount of time, the average number of vehicles traveling on Barnes Mill Road between Deer Creek Estates and Poozy Ridge was 5,428 vehicles on average per day. If 4 semi-trucks are added weekly, which is what I understood the letter to say was the case, 3 to 4 trucks a week, is that what it said? Anyway. If 4 semi-trucks are added weekly to this roadway, it adds the
7 to 10
equivalent.
per month. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
7 to 10 per month.
Per month, okay. Well, 4 semi-trucks is equivalent of over 4,000 cars when it comes to wear and tear on a roadway. In the absence of commercial taxes used to offset these repair needs, it adds an even larger cost to the county and state to maintain this roadway safely. For these and other reasons already stated, and some we may yet hear, I oppose this conditional use request.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we agree everybody else has probably got the same concerns? No, we have one more, is there? Yes, ma'am. Please state your name and residence, please.
My name is Paula Mianchi. I have lived off Barnes Mill Road for 45 years.
Yes, ma'am, you swear to tell the truth.
I swear to tell the truth. And drive Barnes Mill Road 5 or 6 times a day. I want to talk about what is a conditional use permit.
Yes, ma'am.
A conditional use permit under the KRS 100.111, and KRS 100, I am here as a private citizen. KRS 100 governs both the Planning Commission and the Board of Adjustments, so it is there that we find the definition. A conditional use means it is essential to or would promote the public health and safety and welfare in a community, and in one or more zones, but which would impair the integrity and character of the zone in which it is located. The conditional use permit has 2 steps to it before there can be authorization by the Board of Adjustment. A statement of factual determination by the Board of Adjustment which justifies the issuance of the permit, and then any restrictions you would put upon that permit. Trade shows, water filtration. I don't think it matters that nobody is coming to the property buying anything, because we have the internet, we have trade shows, we have all kinds of ways of acquiring trade show items or water filtration items. But we have multiple tractor trailers coming in and bringing trade show items and water filtration stuff, and multiple tractor trailers taking it away. So this could be an internet business. It's still a business storage, and it's still a business. The commercial activity is occurring in a long-term pre-era zoning residential area. It is zoned R7. It is not zoned R4 or R3, which are either neighborhood commercial or general commercial.
It's R1. This is under R1.
R1 now, okay. I'm sorry, it has actually now been upgraded to R1. It is located in between 2 very established major subdivisions, Willimack and Barnes Mill Estates, on a very busy 2-lane road that at this point does not intersect with any major highway or collector road, and is not adjacent to any other commercial activity, which is about 1.5 miles to 2 miles away. This is not some long-term, non-conforming use of this property. This property was just bought, and I think the building was built within the last couple of years. Issuing a permit for this commercial activity in this heavily residential area would, in my opinion, amount to a de facto change in the zoning from R1 to R3 or R4, and it would be a form of spot zoning. And this situation is very, very similar to March of 2012, where a man, Keaton Excavating, bought a piece of property just down the road from this, which had a metal building on it and a concrete floor, very similar to this one, and he began using this property for commercial activities with triaxle trucks and equipment for excavating. He actually applied for a zone change, and he was denied that zone change by the Planning Commission, and there was a full and very long-lasting hearing before the fiscal court with all attorneys and residents, and he was denied again by the fiscal court because he was in a deeply residential area, as is this. The property, the Keaton property, like this one, is heavily populated residential. To accommodate, if Keaton had been accommodated, it would have been spot zoning. To accommodate a conditional use permit here essentially acts like spot zoning, and it does not promote the interests of safety, health, or welfare of the community. The conditional use permit for this property undermines the integrity of the area and the integrity of zoning. It is not consistent with the character of the area of the neighborhood. The mere possibility of granting a conditional use permit for this property may make it more profitable for an individual than residential use. And making it more profitable for somebody is not a sufficient evidentiary basis for granting a conditional use permit or for seeing it as a hardship. It is never a hardship to grant permission for somebody to do something on their property because they can make more money with it. Additionally, when this property was purchased, it was then, and it is now, single-family residential. And therefore, the present circumstances for which the Board of Adjustment is being asked to change the use of this property is a self-created hardship. And it is not the role of the Board of Adjustments to rescue people from the hardships they have inflicted upon themselves. This person got what he bought, single-family residential property. The Board of Adjustments and the Planning Commission are guided by the vision and guidance of the comprehensive plan. The 2015 comprehensive plan is not different in its goals and vision. The first comprehensive plan was written in 1999. It has been consistent since in every 5-year revision that the long-term vision and goals and recommendations of the comprehensive plan remained consistently the same. The overriding goal of the plan is to assist decision makers in their ability to make good decisions. The focus of community planning is on the people. The overall goal of the county's comprehensive plan is to improve the quality of life for its citizens, and that is on page 9. The comprehensive plan is implemented by land use regulation and subdivision regulations. They go hand in hand. They form a triangle. In the land use regulations, residential land use, quote, residential land use should be given a great deal of special consideration in the overall development taking place in a given area. Uses that are detrimental to residential areas should be discouraged or shielded from residential areas in as to mitigate its detrimental effects. The proposed commercial use and truck traffic is detrimental to the residential area and violates the land use regulations. The land use regulation states, commercial land use guidelines, land used for commercial purposes shall be located at the intersection of major highways or where major highways intersect with other important collector roads. In addition, commercial activities may be located on a major highway adjacent to commercial uses. This residential land does not satisfy either of those regulations and is not supported by the comprehensive plan. There are 2 final statements in the comprehensive plan that are very, very important. One of them states, an option in the past has been to wait for things to happen and then hope through solving problems in a piecemeal fashion we can somehow end up with a better situation. This approach has not worked in the best interest of the citizens of Madison County. We need to stop doing this. That's on page 98. The second statement, also on page 98, which is the vision of the comprehensive plan, states, the community is made up of individual dreams, considerable sacrifice by many, and a framework to take dreams and sacrifice and transform them into a vision. The vision enables us to maintain focus on the ultimate goal and objective, which is continue to see Madison County remain and continue as one of the best places to live, to work, to raise a family, to educate, and retire. I hope, based on the comprehensive plan, the zoning of this area, the land use regulations, and the vision of Madison County, I hope you will uphold the vision and goal of the comprehensive plan and deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
We don't need any comments from the audience unless you're at the podium, please.
All right. Yes, sir. I know everybody's got something, I'm not gonna have everybody come up, because it sounds like everybody's saying the same thing.
Just
Please state your name.
Wayne
Residence,
Penkowski,
please.
1703 Barnes Mill Road.
Swear-
Make it real quick,
swear to tell the
just a
truth,
couple, I swear I'll tell the truth.
Yes, sir.
A couple additions to this. Most people don't know that this is an urban corridor highway. It's not a rural road, it's a highway designated by restrictions of the state. And the state, one thing that people don't know is that there have been 2 fatalities on this road within a mile of this entrance. Actually, one of them the crash started shortly beyond this entrance. The reason I state that is if you're pulling in semi-trailers, according to the state, if you cross the semi, if you have to, and in this case, you have to pull that semi out to wind into the approach, you're creating a hazard. The state does not allow that, and we've already got a dangerous situation on this road with line of sight and cross traffic and the amount of traffic that's on this road. So it's something to consider, that the safety is a major issue when we're talking about adding tractor trailers. There, as was stated, there's no community need being served on this. There's plenty of available storage within the county that could meet the demands of the resident who would like to have this changed. Again, there's nothing personal. I wish total success to business in this area, but you have to do it where other businesses and where other storage facilities are. In this case, it's completely surrounded by residential properties. The last thing, as Paula had mentioned, is you can't just buy a property and do what you want to do with it after you've bought it. In this case, it was bought as a residential property, and it's zoned as residential, and everything in that area is residential. That being said, I ask that the board not approve this change or a conditional use permit. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir. This time we'll allow Mr. Eves and Mr. Watts to come up for a rebuttal if you would like to defend any of these. If not,
We don't have anything further.
thank you. Anything from the board? So we'll ask for a motion of some sort.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to,
Please come to the mic, sir.
may I sit here, I have a belt.
Yes,
We'll get you
we'll
the
get you the
mic.
mic, sir. Please state your name and residence for us, sir.
My name is Eugene N. Barnes, living at 1607 Barnes Mill Road. I swear to tell the truth.
Thanks, sir.
The road is named after my relatives. On top of that, where this driveway is used to be my house. It was sold to the individuals who live there now. I would be in an argumentative stage if I was living there at all. It is residential. The acreage of which you are speaking of is now residential. It was bought that way and sold by my ex-wife. Common courtesy dictates, and always has and always will, that if a property owner wanted to build next to another property owner, he would come and advise him what he was going to be doing. That was not done to me. The other part of it is, another man I know very, very well, Mr. Turner, his property line borders this property also. Now we're in conflict that this was all residential. My 17.6 borderlines this man's property. He's within 10 feet of my property line. Barnes Mill Estate used to belong to my aunt and uncle. Also, the Barnes Mill Estates backs off my property. Therefore, residential or farmland, it always has been. I respect the person who is trying to upgrade his property. I went down one day and saw blacktop trucks. The blacktop trucks and the excavators were sitting on my property. I was not advised of it. Therefore, I'm not an argumentative individual. But this is a toll pike in 1795. It is now a state road. And we used to charge a penny to go down and 2 pennies to come back. That was in 1795. That's how old I am.
Thank you, sir.
So therefore, I'm saying this right now, under no circumstances would I advise this board to say no. And I thank you for your attention.
Thanks, sir. All right, I'd like to make motion to deny this conditional use permit.
Second the motion.
Is there a second?
Second that motion.
Any more discussion? Jimmy Rogers,
Yes.
Chris Cooper,
Yes.
Ralph Oliver.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I think it might be prudent to take a 5-minute recess to let anybody that might want to leave do so we don't disturb the next item on the agenda. So anybody that wants to leave now, that was here for Barnes Mill, you can feel free to get up and make your way.
Thanks. Won't everybody? Won't everybody? That's great. I appreciate that. Dr. Bianchi, I want to shake her hand. Good to see you. She is a
My favorite doctor is here.
You live here or here? I was wondering who lives. I'm in Miss Fred's. Okay.
She's a kid.
Conversation out in the hallway, so we get you everything. I appreciate it. We got 3 more to do, 2 more to do.
Pleasure meeting you. Just give him a copy. Gene, good to see you, buddy. One thing is, I've just turned down last reading but then again, the travel, that trip out of water, pain, so you know, it's, I don't think I'll be there. He was, Bobby, he was. Well, I'm sure he was there. I went with Bobby, but I think that's something. But see, we have to talk later.
It's already.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So now we're going back to number 3, 14
Yeah.
Callie's.
Callie's. Yeah.
Feel free to stay as long as you want.
Mr. Chairman, if you want to call us back to order, I'll call the roll. All right, record, Jimmy Rogers,
Here.
Chris Cooper,
Here.
Ralph Oliver.
Here. All right, the next item on the agenda, we have a dimensional variance request for 410 Calix Road. Is there somebody here?
Come on up, Rick. So we've got a dimensional variance request for this address. I believe Mr. Horn wants to, if you look at the map, that's his house right here. All these houses on Cal East are pretty much in a straight line. It just happens that they're too close to the road. They're pre-existing too close. If I'm right, Rick, you want to add on to this end of your house?
That is correct.
But you're not coming,
Can you please state your name, Reverend?
My name is Rick Horn, swear to tell the truth.
And where you live?
Where you live?
I live on 14 Cal East Road.
you're not wanting to come any closer to the road than the existing house.
No, sir.
You just want to come out to the side of your existing house.
That's correct.
Anything else you think might be,
So anything you're adding on is not going closer to the wrong, it's basically going parallel with your house.
Exactly.
Correct?
That is correct.
Towards the neighbor.
Yes, but
South, I guess, on that.
I also, my lot is well over 2 acres. Most of the lots out there are an acre. So I mean, the variances between me and my neighbor ain't even close to what I'm not getting too close enough.
So you're 410 coming down towards 4, is that 18? 418?
Yes, that is correct.
And these, just for curiosity, the size of the addition you're putting on?
I'm going to put a 28 by 24.
Okay. And they won't have any decks on the front of it or anything going out?
No,
like
it's
that?
it's restricted out there. I will build according to what the homeowners association says, the restrictions. Now I've got a pool. When I build the room on behind it, I'll have a patio with a door coming out that joins the pool deck. Yeah, concrete.
I think our biggest thing was to make sure nothing's going past the variance, like
Towards the road.
towards the road.
No, not at
That
all.
room is where the 410 is right there?
Hmm.
Is that where the room's gonna be, right there?
Yes, that is correct.
That's what I was thinking, okay.
Yes.
I didn't see any stakes out there. Have you got staked yet?
I stuck some sticks in the ground.
I kept looking for it, didn't see it. I said, well, I know what about where it's at.
Yeah, I broke some twigs off my bushes and stuck them in there.
It worked.
Bert, is 51, is that, I see the sidewalk and the
Yeah,
porch
that's not completely, I mean, dead on accurate, that's just kind of a rough idea.
What do you got from
So
that?
what, if you build it where you want it, how
Yes.
far will you be from the center of the road?
It should be the same as what it is there, Bert.
Well, but
Did you measure it,
that's what I'm asking, did you measure before you filled out this application? You've got on here a 51-foot variance.
Yes.
Does that mean you're gonna be 51 feet, or you need to vary from the 125, 51 feet?
subtract 51 from 125?
Is that,
Yes.
does that make sense?
Yes, it
So you're
does.
you're actually not asking for 51 feet. You're
You need
asking,
69, you're asking for 51-foot variance, which means you'd have to be at least 69 feet.
Right.
Is my math right? 69 feet from the center of the road.
Which is, the variance is 125?
125.
Okay.
25 minus 51.
70.
Yeah, 74.
51? Okay, 74. So you would not be, if 51 is what you asked for, and if they agreed to it, you'd have to be at least 74 feet from the
Correct.
center of the road.
Yes.
I'm measuring you right there at 60, what's that say? 86. So
I'm good.
you're good.
Good. Thanks.
So is this already built?
No. That's
No.
That's what we're agreeing.
No, our daughter's living with us, moved in with her 2 grandkids. I'm trying to keep from getting divorced.
Is anybody else here?
You coming out this way?
Yes, I'll be coming toward the next house to the
The
left.
next house there.
Yes, no closer to the road, but
Yeah.
you see how I've got, that's a pretty good sized piece of property to the left
It
of the
is,
house
good-sized
there.
property.
So
Yeah.
how big is you talking about, Rick?
It's 28 by 24. It'd come out 24 that way, Bert.
Because the house is already too close.
It's 30, 24.
Yes.
So if y'all look back, that's about where it would end up. That's 24 feet.
Yep.
Bert, what's the variance off the property,
It's 50 feet.
this property line here? Is there
10 feet.
10 feet?
Yeah.
So we're
10
good there,
So
no,
he
no
would
worries.
end up being,
Okay, yeah. I was
it's
asking.
still gonna be, what's that say?
89.
It's gonna be almost 90 feet from his property line.
So we're good both ways? Okay.
Because the existing house is already out of variance. I mean, it's out of,
So it's gonna be in line with the
Yes.
house, with the other property too,
Yes.
Right.
the owner property.
okay.
Instead
I
of
looked
being
at all that
100,
pretty carefully, it's all about the
instead of being
same.
125 feet from the center of the road, it's
Yeah.
going to be 74 feet.
74 feet, right.
Center
Maybe
road.
more than that. the way
Yeah, it could be
measured.
farther, but it can't
That
be
gives you,
close.
that gives you a little bit of room if our measurements are
Yeah.
off a little bit.
Okay. Good.
Sounds good.
The way the way the house is built, the garage is 8 foot closer to the road than the house, so I'm going to match the garage with the house pretty much.
Okay.
Is anybody else here who want to speak on behalf, for, against, anything like that? Any other questions from the board?
No.
Ask for a motion.
I make a motion to grant the 74, or the 51-foot variance, or should I say the 74?
51-foot variance.
Grant the
To reduce
51.
setback to 74 feet.
51-foot variance to reduce the setback from 74 feet from the center of the road. for the address of 410 Cal East Road.
Do we have a second?
I'll say,
Chris Cooper,
Yes.
Jimmy Rogers,
yes,
Ralph Hall.
Yes.
you're done.
Thank you, guys.
Today.
You're welcome. There's another step person will talk to you.
Come on.
Talk to you, he'll give you another, you got one more step.
We're waiting on,
Oh.
we're waiting on Burton to go on.
No, we're going.
All right, next we have on the agenda, dimensional variance for 309 Route 13 River's Edge.
Right, we got
Is
Mr.
that-
Adams Keys here.
Two properties.
That is in Booth Trace, it's a townhome.
Okay,
Back there in the back of Booth Trace where the townhomes are, have their own little subdivision back there. And
okay.
Mr. Adam Keys and Mr. Rick Isaacs is here. This is surveyor. He is, are you the property owner? Property owner.
Keys Instruct.
Investments.
Investments.
Yes.
Please state your name, please.
My name's Adam Keys, and I swear to tell the truth.
Yeah, we live.
Where you live? Your residence?
I live at 3689 King Arthur Circle.
Okay, sir. Go ahead.
I'm building a duplex, two addresses, 309, 313 River's Edge. And we had it pinned correctly, and I'm not sure how the mistake happened, but on the site plan is different than what we have, the existing building that I've been working on for about the last 6 months. It appears that it was mistakenly pinned 5 feet into the utility easement, 5 feet closer to the road than is permitted.
Yeah, and not just the utility easement, the building setback as well.
So I'm asking for a variance to build 5 feet closer than permitted.
5 feet closer to the.
To the road, to the front setback.
Building setback is 15 feet for that development. And you want to get up and give us the dimensions and the actual numbers? Do you have copies for them? Yeah, give them a copy of it, and then you can kind of tell them where it's supposed to be, where it actually ended up, and give your name and how you're involved in the project, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
So this is for two properties.
I believe the variance is for one.
It's just
for the
buildings,
309.
okay. I don't think it shows up in there, but
No,
this one.
he's not started this one yet. This one is in place. It's like this right here.
Okay.
This is where it actually exists. This shows all the, is this.
Let's get you the mic, Rick. We can't get you on the record if we don't get your name in there. And
Please state your name, resident, sir.
My name's Rick Isaacs. I'm the surveyor on this, and I live in Jackson County.
Okay. Swear to tell the truth, sir.
What's that? I swear to tell the truth.
All right, sir.
Okay, what I just gave you guys is the way that it exists in the field now. Okay? So as you can see, if you're standing in the street looking at the townhouse, the one on the left encroaches on the front building line and utility easement. And what the variance he's requesting, is to change that from the existing 15 feet that it is in the front to 10 feet.
So this is on one that's already there? Is it-
it's already there, so, it didn't come to our attention until the building was already up out of the ground. Actually brought to our attention by the utility company. There was a separate issue that they were dealing with, so we went out and looked at it and determined, we had a site plan in the file, but, like I said, we don't really know what happened. There was a mistake, there was miscommunication somewhere, so, yeah, the building's there.
Yeah.
We told Mr. Keys to stop working until he came, to have his hearing, but, yeah, the building's there.
You see what?
If y'all don't approve this variance, then he'll have to adjust the actual structure.
So we're looking at, it says track 4D, book 487, page 260.
You looking at a plat?
Yes.
Yeah, we're looking at that.
Yeah, so this plat shows it, Bert, I'm reading this right, this plat shows it not within that easement, correct?
The 15-foot building line and easement,
It's
that's what you're looking at.
Yeah, and
It shows it outside that easement, but this That's not where it is.
So the plat's wrong.
This is not a plat, this is a
Not.
site plan.
The site plan.
You see, what we initially, the townhome was tight on the lot as far as the easements are concerned. So we did several different layouts in their CAD drawing, trying to position it and move it around. Okay, and if you, the right rear corner, where the one that it's over, was when we had it back to where it wasn't encroaching in the front, it put it really close to that sideline, and this townhome on that lot next to it is really close to the line. So we kept, like I said, we kept adjusting them, and sending them to Adam and looking at them, and trying to stay out of the easements. So in her drawing, the only thing that I can think that happened, and I don't know this because I went back and tried to figure it out, is we had multiple house layouts in her CAD drawing. Okay, then when we went to the field to actually lay it out, I don't know if we picked one of the wrong layouts and assigned the point numbers to it and then went in the field and laid it out that way. I mean, I don't know, but, because, we did lay it out wrong. It is encroaching, but it was definitely not intentional. And of course, it was brought to Bert's attention because once we went out and laid it out the first time, then went back, we never checked it no more because we assumed it was okay, but obviously it wasn't. So it was not just a one-time deal. Like I said, we worked on this quite a bit, doing different layouts, trying to get it in there where it was so tight. And like I said, we evidently just, we must have assigned the points to the wrong one. And then, I wanted to bring this one and show you guys how it actually exists in the field.
So yeah, I looked on that site plan, because on the site plan, you're actually exceeding the easement in the back, but you're making the variance in the front. So,
No, he's right on the line, on the site plan.
Yeah, it was, we had no wiggle room. It was right on it.
yes, draw that, yeah. Okay.
So what is that number there, Rick? 4 point?
It's 4.84 is how much it's
It's
encroaching.
encroaching, so
And there's a 15-foot building line.
it's actually less than 5 feet. I think he asked for a 5-foot variance, which he might need that for, are you doing your encroachment to the face of the wall, or are you doing it to the gutter board, to
Do
the?
it to the face of the wall.
So you've got a foot there overhang probably on front of that building.
If you
So I think
if you
your
include the
application
overhang, that would be true.
has asked for, what'd you ask for? on that?
10 foot from the property line, that's what the application asked for. Will that cover that?
No.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the overhang there.
Because if you're 4.8 now, and you got a foot over, is it 4 foot?
I would, yeah.
Five, so that would be 5.84. So really, you need to be
And gutter.
9.16.
In order to clear
Just
1 foot
change that-
overhang.
Change that to 9, and that'll cover it, right?
Yeah, there's no gutter, it's on the front.
But you have the eyebrow, I think, there on that corner, yeah.
Does he,
So, what we're looking at right here too, guys, is there's one here, there's multiple properties. I just wanna make sure I'm not confused, is he planning on requesting another one? For that
We'll
second?
correct this before he starts building another house. He's not even submitted a building permit for that other one yet.
Okay.
309.
So we're just-
Submitted one for 3013.
If he,
I think 313 is okay.
Well, according to this site plan, what Bert's saying now though,
according to the site plan, the other one's okay.
Okay.
We don't need to discuss that one. He's not, there's no application for that one.
They're talking about
He's
this
talking
right.
about this other part of the
And I think
duplex.
313 is okay. Is
Yeah.
313 okay? 309
It's okay, but when you went out for the pool,
It's okay.
in the house.
Yeah, that front right
They got
corner's
the
fine.
pins on.
It's well past
the
the.
front right one's good.
yeah, it's
All we're
the, it's
concentrating and worried about is this
Yeah,
front.
you're
The-
behind
the-
the building.
Okay, that's what.
You
the
have
left
that.
townhome.
Yes.
The left one with the garage corner is all we're worried about.
Sorry.
The applicant told that.
Okay.
You really just needed one.
Exactly.
Is it a townhouse?
It's one building.
But it's two
It's
seats.
one building, two
It's 2 lots.
lots.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he needs a 9-foot, you said 10, but if you want to amend your application to change that, you need a
Take into consideration of.
You need a 6-foot variant. No, you need a, is that right? You need a 6-foot variance to reduce it from 15 to 9.
in that one corner.
On the, well, the, you don't have to say where it is.
His place.
Yeah, this was the bridge, it's like, this is what was actually done.
Yeah, that's what's on the ground. What Bert has is what's on the ground.
This is what was submitted.
This is what was, that's what should have been done, right?
Anything else?
You wanna check with the audience, see if anybody else.
Does anybody
wants
else
to speak?
want to speak?
Yeah, I guess I do.
Come on up, sir, please state your name. Please state your name and residence, sir.
Michael Felty, 204 River Run Drive, Richmond, Kentucky. And yeah, I'm going to tell the truth.
Sir.
I'm looking at the plat that you said, it's Rick, right?
That's correct.
That Rick, oh well. And it is different from the one that he has submitted to originally do.
Well, Mr. Thomas correct us. This was just a site plan. This is not a plat. We actually have the, correct.
I think we've established that
Yeah.
what he submitted that he's actually gonna do didn't happen, that there was a
Yeah.
mistake made, and this is what actually ended up happening.
Yeah, well, first off, I don't have a problem with him if you approve this use on the first townhome 309 and 313. My concern comes with what he wants to do on the second townhome.
Okay, we're right now,
discussing-
we're just discussing 309
And
and
if anything different happens on the other two, this whole process will start all over again, and we'll have another hearing on it. So they're not gonna make any rulings or any motions on anything but what's on this application here.
I guess, I know that these guys were out a couple times, and the HOA, which I'm representing, and Larry Wilson is my partner on the HOA architectural review. Adam, they went through a lot of work to get this in. It's very tight, and we didn't realize that in some cases, as Rick was saying, they might have picked up the wrong marker. With that being said, as far as the existing townhome goes, I think you should just let it go, okay? Grant him the permit for that. However, down the road, it's got to
So just to clarify
change.
for the record, you are representing, you're part of the homeowners association?
I am the president of the homeowners
Okay. I just
association.
wanted to get that on the record, because I had told Adam that he needed to reach out to you all and make sure that.
and you are for this variance.
Well, for this one now, yes. I mean,
That's
it's
all we-
already,
So we need to
That's
know.
all we need.
Nobody knows.
because it's in the ground. You're not going to move that building.
All right,
As much as I,
thank you, sir. Any other discussion, anybody else want to speak? All right, anything on the board? Need a motion?
I make a motion to grant the 6-foot variance to reduce the setback from 15 to 9 feet for the address of 309 Rivers Edge in
Is there-
Richmond.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Chris Cooper,
Yes.
Jimmy Rogers.
Yes.
Ralph Oliver.
Yes.
All right, you're in
All
business.
right, thank you, sir.
You're good.
Good. No new business? All right. Adjourn.
You have to move that in second and all that.
Nope, nope.
Thank you guys for working with it.
Cheers.
Thank you, Rick.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Give me a hold of your agenda for
I
tomorrow,
guess so.
just in case you keep it.
Whatever.